22-year-old Ivy Morgan is not a regular college student. She might look like a girl next door, with long red tresses and a face that is nothing short of ordinary, but she is far from that. She belongs to a secret group named the Order, responsible for keeping the humans of the French Quarter in New Orleans safe from the Fae. The Fae are supernatural beings, who are dangerous and vile and downright wicked, with no regard for human life. And being who she is, Ivy, amongst many others like her, is tasked to fight these beings and protect the city. If Ivy had been born into any other family, so many things would have been different for her. But she was born into a family of Order members. She couldn't have chosen a different life than the one she has. Her foster mom used to tell her, if wishes were fishes, we'd all cast nets. Ivy is sitting outside a cafe, catching up on some university work, when her friend, Val, brings her iced coffee. Val works with Ivy as a part of the Order. Val asks Ivy to cover her shift later that night at the Quarter, since she has a date. Ivy agrees to that. It is not like she has a date herself. Val tells the girl that she could, if she ever went out more than once a year. But talking about dating only makes Ivy dwell on the severe lack of romance in her life. Val drops the topic, but she cannot help but wonder why Ivy is even studying. She has a job that pays her extraordinarily well. Granted, it has the shortest lifespan of any job out there, but still. Then, Val proposes a friendly wager. The person to have the most kills by 1 in the morning wins. If Ivy wins, Val will bring her iced coffee every day for a week. Val is about to continue when they spot a Fae woman passing them by. The creature is glamored, and so to the human eye, it appears just like an ordinary person. But Ivy's clover necklace glows green when the woman walks past them. To their eyes, the woman has icy blue, almost silver skin, that shimmers betraying its true nature. They let the creature pass, and then Val claims that creature as hers to end. She peppily says goodbye to Ivy and thanks her for covering for her later. Later that night, while on patrol, Ivy spots a Fae stumbling out of a bar. She runs after the creature disguised as a man and finds herself alone with him in a secluded alleyway. Ivy attacks it, and the two engage in a fight. The Fae's last words to Ivy before she ends it are that their whole world is about to end. Ivy does not think much of it. She is about to leave when another Fae shows up. This one has long white hair and glowing blue eyes, but his skin is not shimmering. He conjures a gun from nowhere. Ivy realizes that he is not a normal Fae. Something is different. Ivy throws her weapon at the creature, but it does not affect him at all. The man takes the blade out from his chest like it is nothing. Ivy realizes this is way out of her league, and she is out of weapons too. She runs away, but the man shoots her. Ivy manages to escape, but the bullet grazes the side of her stomach. Ivy reaches the place of the person who heals her kind. Unable to make it all the way up, Ivy falls down the stairs. She calls David, her boss, but is unable to reach him. Ivy is only half conscious when two men find her. One of them is a handsome young man. The other is the doctor. The younger man crouches next to Ivy and observes her. Ivy has hazy vision as she stares at him very intensely. The doctor recognizes Ivy. The young man is about to touch her when Ivy slaps his hand away. This is the first time a girl has stopped him from doing that. Ivy tells the doctor that a Fae shot her, but Fae never uses guns. Ivy is sure it was a Fae, but of a different kind. One who did not need to use glamour to hide his identity. The two men cannot believe that. That is not possible. Ivy tells them what she saw. He did not have silver skin, but had the Fae eyes. The girl slips out of consciousness, and the young man carries her upstairs. The next morning, Ivy wakes up in the infirmary. David is sitting in front of her. He informs Ivy that he spoke with Dr. Harris, and he has cleared Ivy of danger. It was just a flesh wound, which was made worse because Ivy ran. That offends Ivy. She did not run because she is a coward. David did not imply that. The man had a gun. Running was the right choice. He tells her that he will pull her off from rotation until next week. David tells her that the doc and Ren told him what Ivy told them last night. Ivy wonders who Ren is. David informs her that he is a new transfer from Colorado. David wants to know if Ivy is sure that she encountered a Fae. Ivy is positive. It did not look like a regular Fae, but it materialized a gun from nowhere. That is impossible, says David, but Ivy insists she knows what she saw. She hit that Fae with an iron weapon, and it remained unscathed. That worries Ivy because if this is true of them all, then how would they stop the creatures? David tells her that only an ancient can resist iron and conjure up things. That makes Ivy even more nervous. The ancients were all sealed in the other world. David thinks that a few might have remained here undetected, but that is highly unlikely. Ivy insists that she knows what she saw, but David cannot be sure. He asks her to stay quiet about it until he gathers more information. She cannot tell Val or anyone else. Ivy agrees. He asks if the Fae said anything to her, and Ivy repeats the same old words, your world is about to end. When he leaves, Ivy calls Val and informs her about her injury. She does not tell her the details though. She apologizes for not being able to cover for the girl as promised. Val tells her to forget about the shift and take care of herself. Ivy tells Val to be careful. When Ivy gets home, she spots two packages awaiting her, though it is not she who ordered them. She gets inside the house and looks around for someone. She searches every room and cannot find him. Until she enters the kitchen, he is sleeping in a bowl of cereal. Tink is a hand-sized creature with wings. He's a brownie. He lives with Ivy and is like her pet confidant, quirky little friend. Tink wakes up with a start and then shoots off, panicking about how worried he had been for Ivy when she did not return home the night before. She always comes back home and is not the kind to stay out at night. If something happens to Ivy, who would take care of him? No one knows he even exists but her. He would starve without her. Ivy points out that it does not look like he was starving, considering that he is lying in a bowl of cereal. Tink argues he had to eat to get through the stress of being abandoned. Tink is a drama queen. Ivy tells him that she got shot the night before. She fills him in on the unusual fae that she encountered. Tink knows about the ancients. Ivy asks him how long he has been in this world, but the creature deflects. He will not even tell Ivy his real name. He tells her that he has seen the ancients in the other world, even the dreamy prince. Ivy asks him questions about what agenda an ancient might have to show up now, but Tink does not know. Ivy doubts that the creature would ever lie to her, but he would not dare. She has Amazon Prime. Ivy rolls her eyes and tells him about the packages he ordered. Tink ensures that Ivy is well. Ivy enters her room and undresses. But as she cleans up, she cannot help but think about the events that transpired last night. Ivy changes into fresh clothes and packs some weapons, concealing them in her boots. She tells Tink that she is heading out. The creature gets suspicious. She is not supposed to be working. She promises to bring him some bayonets and Tink lets up, shooing her away. He has a massive sweet tooth. Ivy arrives at a bar. She finds Trent, a coworker of hers, guarding outside, but he would not let her go in since she was not on duty that night. Ivy tells him about her experience with the ancient fae, but Trent does not believe her. He calls her crazy just as Merle was. Ivy gets annoyed with him for calling Merle crazy. She was a member of the order and Trent should respect the woman. Trent comments that it was a bad idea to start letting females into the order. Ivy knees him in the crotch in response and walks away. Soon, she comes across the same fae from last night. She observes him from afar, and when he leaves, Ivy attempts to follow him, but Ren grabs her from behind. He stops her. Ivy resists and throws her legs in protest. Ren puts her down on the condition that she would not hit or punch. Ivy nods, but the second he leaves her, she attacks him. Ren manages to corner Ivy against a wall and covers her body with his. He tells her she was about to make a big mistake, like she did the night before. Ivy snaps that she was just doing her job. Ren counters that the moment she thought she could engage that fae, she made a mistake, and she is about to do it again. Ren just saved her life. Ivy is not impressed or grateful. Instead, she is mad. Ren leans in. He flirts with her, but at the same time warns that she is not ready to take on an ancient. Ivy wonders what makes him say that fae is ancient, because David denied it. Ren asks her to go home, or else he will tattle on her to David. Ivy pushes past him to go get some bayonets for Tink. The next morning, Ivy gets to college. She finds her friend, Joanne, in the park and sits next to her. She worries about Ivy because the girl does not look that well. Ivy assures her that she is fine, and it's just a stomach bug. Soon it is time for class. Later, Ivy walks past a shop and waves to the owner. She then enters the order's headquarters. Ren spots the girl, but before she can enter, Trent stops her. He messes with her, but Ren comes to Ivy's rescue. Not that she needs it. Trent goes away, and Ivy cannot help but check Ren out. He is tall, dark, and handsome. His physique only adds to his overall attractiveness. Ren catches her looking, and Ivy snaps out of it. Ren advises her to not speak so openly about what she saw the other night. She had told Trent about it last night, and Trent was blabbing about it in front of the order. Ivy scowls at him. She did not ask for his opinion. David comes up to her and tells her to leave. She does not need to be at that meeting. He told her to keep her mouth shut, and Ivy did not. Now Trent is blabbing all around. Half the order thinks Ivy is crazy, and the other half thinks there is an ancient running around the streets. Ren thinks that Trent is the problem then, not Ivy. David shuts him up too. Trent would not have said anything if Ivy had not kneed him in the crotch. Hearing that makes Ren smile proudly. Trent wanted to file a complaint against Ivy for doing that, but David did not. Since Ren is new to the sect, David tells him to get to know the others better. He then tells Ivy that she is back on rotation, since he cannot spare anyone at the moment. But she will be showing Ren around the area and making him familiar with the city. She will not fight any fae, and if she crosses any, Ren will handle it. Before Ivy can even protest, David tells her she has no say in it. He dismisses her and asks her to meet him at 5 tomorrow. Ivy returns home and finds more packages on her doorstep. She gets a text from Val asking to talk. She enters and finds Tink shopping on Amazon. He asks her about her day, but Ivy does not want to talk about it. She hands him a box of pralines, and that makes the tiny creature jump in delight. That night, Ivy is asleep in her room when she stirs awake and finds Ren inside her room. Ivy sits upright, startled. She kicks him off her bed and then fights him. Ren smirks all the while as he subdues her and pins her against her mattress. Ivy is so irked. Ren tells her he needs to talk to her. So, he could not reach her through a call or text. The man tried, but Ivy was unreachable. So, he had to climb up her window. Tink tries to come at Ren with a saucepan, but Ivy warns him against it. He cannot be seen by anyone. Ivy is appalled that Ren broke into her apartment while she was asleep. She manages to overturn him and straddles him while he lies defenseless on his back. With a dagger to his throat, she asks him why he is there. The man flirts with Ivy while being charming but also annoying. He knows that Ivy is mad at him. He made her look like a fool in front of David. Ren knew that David would not believe her about the ancient. He pushes Ivy off him, and the two come into a standoff. Ren checks her out and comments that her boyfriend must be a happy man. Ivy scowls that her boyfriend is dead. Ren is apologetic to hear that. He was a part of the Order too. Ivy asks why Ren is in the city. He tells her that he heard about there being ancients in New Orleans, and he is hunting them. He is part of a secret organization within the Order. Even David does not know of them. Ren wants to grab a bite, and he asks Ivy to tag along. He will explain everything to her, and she can tell him more about that night when she fought the Fae. They are at a diner when Ivy asks Ren to continue his story. Ren belongs to the elite. It has existed since before the beginning of the Order, and just like the Order, the members of the elite are generational. They hunt the Fae like the others, but are also trained to fight the ancients. Ren asks if Ivy was able to injure the ancient. She did, but the Fae just pulled the iron weapon out of his chest without flinching. She wonders why this is not common knowledge for all the hunters. Ren tells her that the ancients are rare, and they do not engage with the Order usually. Ivy wants to know how to put an ancient down for good. The only thing that can kill an ancient is a stake fashioned from the bark of the birch tree that grows in the other world. Getting that is not easy, but Ren has won. Next, Ivy asks how the ancients conjure things out of thin air. As long as they touch something, they can conjure it. Ren gets serious as he tells Ivy how lucky she was to have gotten away with just a flesh wound. Ancients are very powerful. Ren tells her that there has been a lot of Fae count in the city, and it is all because there is a gateway to the other world in New Orleans. But they do not know its location yet. A couple's laughter catches Ivy's attention. Ren looks at them wistfully. He asks Ivy if she ever wonders what would happen if she were normal like that couple. She is not. Ren sighs. He thinks those people are lucky because they get to live their lives normally. People like him and Ivy never stood a chance. Ren informs her that with the fall equinox coming up, the gates will be weaker during that time. The Fae and the ancients coming to the city might have something to do with that. They might be planning something. Ren reaches to take some bacon out of Ivy's plate. The girl slaps his hand away. She may believe him now, but that does not mean he can steal her food. Ren takes Ivy out to show her something. Walking down a street, Ren pulls her away and pushes her against a wall. She begins to threaten him, but Ren tells her to look the other way. A man gets out of a black car. Ivy sees that his eyes glow, just like that ancient face she saw the other night. He attracts a human to feed on. Ivy is about to attack, but Ren stops her. He does not want to stand and watch either, but they cannot attack the Fae right now. He tells Ivy that she is not ready to take on an ancient. She asks how he knew the ancient would be there. Ren tells her that ever since he stepped foot in town, he has been on the search. He found this Fae, registered in the hotel under the name Marlon Sires. Ivy recognizes that name as some huge developer in the city. Ivy is stunned to find out that the Faes are masquerading as humans in such a public standing now. She goes on running her brain and mouth when Ren leans and kisses her on the cheek. Ivy pulls away, annoyed. She glares at him, and he tells her that she looked like she could use a kiss on the cheek. Irked, Ivy storms away. Ren walks Ivy back home. She finds Tink asleep on the couch cushion. She carries him to his assigned room, in one of the cabinets. While working out the next morning, Ivy cannot stop thinking about Ren. Later that day, Ren and Ivy meet. While Ren continues to shamelessly flirt with her, Ivy gives him no attention. It is time for her to show him around the city. While on their tour, they hear a scream. Ivy and Ren run to where the voice came from, and find a woman screaming fairly. She comes at Ivy, and Ivy punches the woman. She falls unconscious. Ren tends to the other man who is lying unconscious. The woman had bitten him. He is no longer alive. Val arrives at the scene. One glance at the unconscious woman, and they realize that she was Fae food, which made her go mad. She will pass away by tonight. Ren asks Ivy to come away with him. Val reminds Ivy that they need to talk. Ren washes his hand. He's feeling a bit heavy. It never gets easier to deal with humans passing away. A moped speeds by, and Ren pulls Ivy into him. The woman is saved, but she is grabbing onto his shirt for dear life. Ren flirts with her. If she keeps grabbing onto his shirt like that, he might get some other ideas. Ivy released her hold on him. As Ren is walking back to clear the scene, Ivy asks him if he has a girlfriend. He only looks at her with a smile. Ivy blushes, embarrassed. When she gets home, Tink teases her about Ren. Ivy shushes him, but the little creature is relentless. The next morning, Ivy meets Val with takeaway coffee. Val is worried for Ivy. People have been talking about how crazy Ivy is. Ivy fills Val in on the recent events of encountering ancients. She tells her about Marlon, the huge developer in the city. She decides to confide in Val, but makes her promise not to say a word of it to anyone else. Val is a vault of secrets. She can keep it. Ivy then proceeds to tell Val about Ren and the elites. Ivy wants to visit Merle and get more information on the gates. Val wants to come with Ivy, but Merle is not really a fan of that girl. Val tells Ivy that her mom always told her about the ancients, told her that they ran the courts in the other world. There was a prince, a princess, a king, and a queen who controlled the knights. Val wonders if the ancients want to open the gates for them. That would be a disaster. Ivy goes to visit Merle. She knocks on the door, but no one opens it. A sudden gust blows past the plants on the side, and Ivy gets suspicious. But when she sees nothing, she calls Brighton, Merle's daughter, and leaves her a voicemail. Ren waits for Ivy with a blue rose in hand. He gives it to her, and it startles Ivy a little, but she takes it with a smile. He asks what she did that day, and Ivy, not wanting to tell him about her visit to Merle, says nothing. She puts the rose in her bag. Ren tells her he staked that hotel for any signs of the ancients. He asks Ivy what she has in her bag. Textbooks, she tells him. He is impressed to know that Ivy is studying to be a sociology major, and that she plans on working with the order along with that. While walking past a shop, the owner comes out and rudely stops Ivy. Ren tries to stand up for the lady, but Ivy calms him down. She knows the owner. He's Jerome. He is a grumpy man with everyone, except his dog. He reminds Ivy that she owes him, and it is the first time she has forgotten about it. Owe him what? Ren wonders. Chocolate cake. Jerome says it is the best chocolate cake he has ever had. Ivy brings it to him every Monday. Ivy promises to bring it the next day. Ren asks why he has never been offered chocolate cake before. Ivy tells him he needs to get to know her better before he can taste her cake. The naughty look in the man's eyes makes Ivy realize the double entendre in her words. She reprimands him. That is not what she meant. Later that night, Ren makes Ivy get on his bike. Ivy tells him she does not like the man. Ren flirts with her anyway, and that gets the girl all sweating and bothered. He tells her that she likes him, she is just not ready to admit it yet. Ivy just sits on the bike. He asks her to hold him tight, and Ivy wraps her hands around his waist. They ride into the night. Arriving at their destination, Ivy and Ren wait for the ancient, Marlon, to arrive at the club. Ren asks if Ivy has ever been in the club, but no. She does not do the party thing. Ren used to party a lot in his late teens. It drove his parents crazy. Ivy asks if his parents are still alive. They are hers. Ren asks. Ivy shakes her head. Her parents passed away when she was young, and her foster parents are no longer alive either. The ancient Fae arrives. The one who had attacked Ivy that night comes out to greet Marlon. To get into the club, Ren and Ivy go around the back, but it is being protected by another Fae. Ren asks Ivy to stay back, since she is not supposed to hunt, while he fights the Fae. One of them tries to attack Ivy. She handles the creature with no effort at all. He vanishes in thin air. As Ivy bends to grab her iron weapon, a car tries to run her over, but Ren gets to it and obliterates the Fae behind the wheel. Ivy flinches as she hurts her side. Ren tries to get a look, but the girl will not let him take her shirt off. How would he like it if she tried to pull his shirt off? The man would love it, he answers. Before Ivy can say more to that, both their phones ping. Arriving back at the order office, Ivy looks for Val. She finds her. David gets on the podium and announces that Trent's body was found near the cemetery. His body parts were brutally broken. Ren points out that he was tortured. Miles, David's right-hand man, tells them that Trent is the fourth to be eliminated in 5 months. David passes an order that everyone will be hunting in groups of 2. No one hunts alone. David singles out Ivy and asks her where she was that night. She finds his interrogation a little weird, but she answers anyway. She tells him that she was with Ren. She is not sure why David is asking her such questions. Miles replies that it is just to be sure. David leaves and Val also has to go. She hugs Ivy goodbye. When she is gone, Ren asks Ivy if she is close to Val. Val was Ivy's first friend when she moved to the city. Ivy cannot help but think that every person who has been murdered in the past few months could have been a guardian of the gate. They were highly skilled personnel. If the Fae knew to target them, then someone in the order is a snitch. Ren thinks it is imperative to get into the club Flux. Something fishy is up, and they need to find out about it soon. Ivy gets a call back from Brighton. She informs Ivy that they are in Texas and will be back the next day. Tink is eating a sugary delight while Ivy gets ready. She and Ren are going to the club. Ivy's wearing a little black dress and she looks gorgeous. The bell rings. Ivy opens the door and Ren is mesmerized by her. How in the world can he pay attention to the task at hand when Ivy is dressed like that? Ren's appreciation makes Ivy nervous. They head out to the club. Entering the club, Ren asks Ivy if she is carrying weapons. Ivy lifts her dress and there is a holster on her thigh stuffed with knives. She has come prepared. Ren and Ivy take a look around the room and find that everyone is getting hot and heavy with each other. It is not the kind of club they thought it was. There are Fae getting intimate with humans and feeding off their energies. Ivy spots the Fae who attacked her. She is about to use her weapons, but Ren stops her. He pulls her to the dance floor and keeps track of the ancient Fae. Ren tells her they need to blend in so that the Fae does not get suspicious. Ren and Ivy start dancing intimately. Both Ren and Ivy can feel the effects of their intimacy. They get lost in the lust-filled haze around them. Several minutes go by, and suddenly, Ivy spots Marlon. She tries to follow him, but Ren stops her. He warns her that it is dangerous, but Ivy can handle herself. She follows the ancient men upstairs and tries to eavesdrop on their conversation. They are talking about the location of the gate, which they now know of. Ivy gets too close to their table and one Fae stops her. She pretends to be a lost little dove. The Fae tries to feed off her, but before he can do any real damage, Ren sounds the fire alarm. Ivy gets out in time. She finds Ren in the hallway and gets annoyed at him. She was so close to getting answers. She tells him they know where the gate is. That is bad news. Ivy wants to go to David, but Ren is not sure anyone can be trusted. He does not trust any other Order member except Ivy or Jerome. Ren thinks maybe the night was not a complete bust. Ivy thinks it is only because she is so awesome. She needs Ren to admit it out loud. But Ren admits something Ivy is not ready for. He admits that he liked the way Ivy felt against him when they were dancing. He asks if Ivy still loves her ex-boyfriend. Ivy admits that a part of her always will, but she doesn't love him like that anymore. Why does Ren even want her? He barely knows her. All Ren knows is to go for something he wants. He wants to know her story and everything else. Ren kisses her, losing control of himself. Ivy cannot help but kiss him back. When Ren pulls back, he tells her he wants to go slow with Ivy. He asks her to just not let them go back from this point. Ivy is too stunned to speak. When he takes her away, she follows. The next morning, Ivy is lying awake in bed still thinking about Ren when Val texts her. She cannot meet Ivy for coffee. Ivy texts her friend Joanne instead, and asks the girl to meet her. When they meet, Ivy tells Joanne that she met a guy. She looks happy and giddy admitting her feelings. Ivy shares her feelings and confusion regarding Ren with Joanne. Ivy confesses to her that the last guy she dated died in a car accident with her adoptive parents. Joanne understands that Ivy is not entirely ready to move on. But Ivy tells her that she is ready. But she feels like she would be betraying her boyfriend who passed away. Joanne tells her that she will not be doing anything of the sort. Her ex-boyfriend would want Ivy to fall in love again. Moving on is the right thing to do, but does Ivy trust the new guy? Ivy can say with complete confidence that she trusts Ren. Ivy calls Ren. The two arrive at Merle's house. When Ren gets off his bike, he kisses Ivy and tells her to get used to it. Ivy informs Ren about Merle. She was caught by a Fae once, and they fed off of her. The woman was never the same again. She can be normal sometimes, but sometimes she has episodes. Brighton greets Ivy and Ren at the door. Ivy does the introductions, and then Brighton asks why they want to meet her mother. Ivy tells her about the Order members they have lost, and they think that the Faes are trying to open the gate in the city on the equinox. Brighton takes the two of them to meet her mother. Merle is in the garden when Ivy and Ren show up. She greets Ivy. When Ivy introduces Ren to Merle, the lady recognizes him as Ronald Owens. They take a seat. Merle already knows why the two young hunters are there to see her. She suspects the ancients are up to no good. She addresses Ren and tells him that though the elites hunt the ancients, that is not the only duty Ren has. Ren shrinks into himself a little as though he is hiding something. Brighton returns with tea and serves it. Merle used to be the guardian, so she knows about everything. Brighton asks if her mother knows where the gate is. Merle tells them that there is not only one gateway in their city, but there are two. This intrigues Ren and Ivy. One gateway is in the sanctuary, and the other is in a place where the atmosphere is so unsettled, not even the humans or the spirits can rest. She turns to Ren and asks if he has found the other gate. He needs to find it soon, because if the Fae come through that gate, something catastrophic will happen. Merle starts to speak faster and begins to get one of her episodes. If the prince or the princess come through and they find it, it will all be undone. The woman panics as she realizes what will happen if they find it. Everything will be undone, she repeats. Ronald must find the halfling. It is a threat to everything. Merle breaks the glass in her hand in her panicked state. Brighton takes her mother away and asks the other two to leave. Ivy demands answers from Ren. He promises to tell her, but they need to leave from there. Ren takes Ivy to his house. They sit in the living room, and Ivy demands that he tell her what a halfling is. A halfling is a child of a human and a fae. There used to be thousands of them, but now only a few are left. The elites are also responsible for hunting the halflings. Ren goes on to tell her that when the gates of the other world were created with magic, they were done so with the ability to be closed and opened. But there is a loophole. One act can open all doorways, and no one can ever close them again. If the prince or a princess were to procreate with a halfling, the child from such a union would undo the original spells. This information shocks Ivy. Ren informs her that there is evidence of a halfling in New Orleans, but the person probably has no idea of their origin. Ivy asks more questions about how to identify a fae. Ren tells her that they are either a part of the order, or most of them are adopted. But Ivy is adopted. Ren laughs and confirms that she is not a halfling. Her birth parents were happily married before Ivy was adopted. He tells her that he is reviewing the Order members and so far, the only adopted member they have found is Miles. Ivy asks if he is going to kill the halfling when he finds it. It is just what his job is, Ren tells her. He then tells her about his best friend, Noah Cobb. The two boys grew up together and were like brothers to each other. His father has had a one-night stand with the Fae, and Noah was the result of it. He was raised in the Order. His parents had no idea what a halfling meant. Then an accident occurred. Ren blames himself for it. Ren was playing with the thorn stake, the kind that can harm a Fae, and Noah was with him. Ren's dad and another elite member were there in the backyard when Noah pricked himself on the thorn stake. When a thorn stake cuts a halfling, their blood bubbles. Noah's blood did. Then Noah left and Kyle went after him. Ren wanted to go after his friend, but his dad stopped him. Noah never made it home. Ren blames himself for what happened to his friend. Ivy consoles him. It was not his fault. But Ren has a lot of guilt from that incident. He never wants to be in a situation like that again. Ivy leans closer to comfort him. Ren kisses Ivy, and the two get closer to each other. Later, sitting in her living room, Ivy hears Tink baking in the kitchen. She demands from the creature what he knows about the gates and the halflings. Tink knew about the halflings, and he never thought of letting Ivy know. That makes her mad. Tink is upset because he had one job, and he failed to do that. His job was to destroy the gate in New Orleans. If the blood of the ancient is shed on the doorway, from inside the other world, it destroys the gate. But if it is shed on the outside, it opens the door. So, all the doors are non-functional. Tink tells her that he destroyed every door in the other world. But he was not aware there were 2 gates in the city. That is a cause for a huge problem. Ivy gets to the Order's meeting. She finds Val there and is talking to her when Ren walks in. He kisses her in front of everyone, and Ivy cannot help but blush. He tells her he does not care what anyone thinks of them. When David passes by them, Ivy stops him. She needs to talk to him urgently. He asks her to come to his cabin. Ren makes sure Ivy knows what she is doing. Ivy asks him to trust her. In David's office, Ren and Val follow Ivy. Ivy tells the man that he needs to believe there are ancients in their city, and they are planning on opening the gates on the equinox in 2 days. Ren backs her up. He tells him about the incident in the club. David is surprised that Ren has been paying attention to anything other than Ivy. Ren tells him he can multitask easily. Ivy brings the focus back to the topic. When Ivy mentions the location of one gate, David gets angry. How does she even know that? She also knows about the halflings, and everything else David has kept hidden from her. She warns the man to put every member of the Order in this city to guard the gates, or the Fae are going to get through. Ren tells David to tell him about the location of the second gate. David sends Ivy and Val outside, while he holds Ren back. Outside, Ivy tells Val that she thinks someone in the Order is working with the Fae. Val seems a little bothered by something, but Ivy misses it. When Val leaves, Ivy is alone. Miles comes there and subtly accuses Ivy of having a hand in Trent's passing away. Trent was looking into Ivy. Ivy gets angry at that insinuation. Miles tells her that there are some things about her past that do not add up. Trent was onto her. The door opens and Ren walks out. David calls Miles into the office. Later that night, walking down the street, Ren tells Ivy that David will have both gates guarded. He asks how she knew that one of the gates was not working. Ivy cannot tell him the truth about Tink, so she lies and says Merle told her. Ivy asks if David told him where the second gate is, and Ren tells her that they are standing in front of it. Turning around, Ivy sees the dark old building. Ren asks Ivy to come home with him. Ivy hesitates. He promises he is not going to take her home and ravish her. But if that is not what he wants from Ivy, then what does he want? Ren assures her that he always wants that from her. But it is not the only thing he wants. At his home, Ren shows Ivy a thorn stake. Ren just wants them to be a normal couple for one night. They spend the night watching TV and laughing as they eat popcorn. Soon, Ivy falls asleep with her head on his shoulder. When she wakes up, Ren tells her to come to bed. Ivy hesitates because she is not sure she is ready to take that step with him. But Ren only wants to sleep next to her. He gives her his t-shirt to wear. Ivy gets into the bed, and Ren lays next to her. He confesses he is happy that she is there. Is she? Ivy nods. She is happy to be there too. She cuddles with him and falls asleep. The next morning, Ren wakes Ivy up by kissing her. The two share some sweet moments. Suddenly, Ivy realizes something and she gets off the bed. She tells him that she has to leave. This worries Ren. He wonders if he hurt her somehow. Not yet. Ivy has trust issues, and she cannot trust Ren to not break her heart. Ivy tells him that he is a great guy, but this thing between them cannot go any further. Later, Ivy sits underneath a tree and tries to distract herself by studying. She tries calling Val, but gets her voicemail. Disappointed, Ivy tries to study again, but then receives an emergency meeting text. She arrives at the Order headquarters. When Val comes there, she has bruises all over her face. When Ivy shows concern, Val tells her she ran into a Fae the night before. Ivy and Ren avoid each other. David announces the Fae apocalypse that they are expecting on the equinox. He asks everyone to go home and be with their families, or spend their time how they wish to, because tomorrow, they will be needed in their best shape to defend their city. Some of them might not be going home tomorrow night. Val has plans to go see her parents. When she leaves, Ivy searches for Ren in the room, but he has left. She exits the building and finds Ren waiting there. He holds her accountable for being a coward and running away from their relationship. Ivy scowls that he has no idea what he is saying. Ren demands to know, but Ivy leaves from there without a word. Later that night, a storm is brewing outside. Ivy struggles with wanting to contact Ren, but she cannot. Then, as if conjured by her thoughts, Ren knocks on her door. When Ivy does not open up, he tells her that he wants to understand. They've all lost people in their lives. Ivy opens the door, and there he stands all soaked in rainwater. He tells her that he will walk away if that is what she wants, but he isn't going down without trying. Ivy lets him in. Ivy sits on her bed, lost in the memories. Ren encourages her to talk to him. She tells him about her first day as a part of the Order. She was supposed to meet Sean at a restaurant, and she got all dressed up for it. She traded her protective clover for a silver chain that matched her dress. Then a Fae spotted her at the metro. She approached Ivy in public and compelled her. Ivy does not remember the Fae telling her to take her to home. All she remembers is being home and seeing her dad on the floor with a stake in his chest. Ivy cries as she recalls the horrifying day. The Fae put Ivy through the wall, and Ivy's mom tried to help her, but the Fae didn't let the woman get away. Then when Sean showed up to find Ivy, the Fae toyed with him for a while before ending the boy as well. Ivy cries because she feels responsible for all that tragedy. Ren tries to tell her it was not her fault, but Ivy does not listen. She continues and tells him that the Fae fed on her and tried to end her as well, but the Order showed up and saved her in time. Ren tries to tell her that it is not her fault. She made a bad choice when she was young. He understands that more than anything else. Ivy is scared because everyone she ever loved is no more. She lost them all. Ren reassures her that he is still there. She has not lost him. But what if she does one day? She cries into his chest. Ren holds her protectively and tells her that anything can happen to them when they guard the gate tomorrow, but they are both with each other now. Ivy soaks up his comforting words and his embrace and kisses him. The two get intimate with each other that night. The next morning, Ren and Ivy woke up cuddled with each other. Ivy gets hungry and Ren decides to cook her breakfast. He stands up and heads to the kitchen. Ivy lies in her bed, all happy and giddy, when she suddenly hears Tink scream. She rushes outside and finds Tink being held down on a knife point by Ren. She asks Ren to release him because he is her friend. Ren cannot wrap his head around this, and Tink's blabbering is not making things easier. Ren eventually lets Tink go. He goes into Ivy's room to put on some clothes. Ivy follows him in and asks him to not tell anyone about Tink. She found him in the cemetery and has kept him since then. He is her friend. She tells Ren it was Tink who told her about the other gate being destroyed. Ren does not trust the creature, but he lets the matter go. He wants to make this day special for Ivy, especially since that night will be very difficult. Ren and Ivy go out on a date like a normal couple. They hold hands and go to the park. They do everything a normal human couple might do on a very normal day. It fills Ivy with warmth and happiness. That night, Ivy walks into the house where the gate is. The entire house is brimming with the Order warriors. David tells her to make sure she returns alive. As Ivy walks up the stairs, she finds Ren waiting for her. She thanks him for the best day she has ever had. Ren feels the same way. He takes her to the master bedroom where the gate is. Ivy, along with other members of the Order, crowd inside the bedroom. There is a door inside the room that is shining on the inside. Blue light threatens to break out from each orifice. Miles addresses the room and orders them to not let an ancient get close to the gate. One drop of their blood can open the door. David locks the door and everyone takes position inside the room, guarding the gate. Sounds of battle are heard from outside, and that means the ancients have arrived. The Fae break in through the door and everyone gets fighting. The white-haired ancient walks in and he renders Ren useless with one strike. Ivy watches, shocked, as the ancient walks to the gate, and Val, betraying them, slits his throat. The ancient touches the blood on his throat and presses his hand to the gate. The gate pushes open. Blue light and mist spread everywhere. More Fae come through the door, and the Order fights them. While they are busy doing that, the prince walks out of the mystical door. Val follows him. When Ivy sees her go, she runs after the girl. Outside, Ivy spots Val running away. She chases the girl to the headquarters. There, she finds the doctor lying unconscious on the floor. Val is there too. She is running away with a black cloth in her hands, but Ivy stops her. Shocked, she demands from her friend why she betrayed them. Val looks at her with sympathy in her eyes. She wishes it had not been Ivy who chased after her. Val runs away, but the prince is in the room with Ivy. His black hair falls to his shoulder in unruly waves, and his eyes gleam blue. Ivy turns and sees him. She has a thorn stake in her hand. The prince comments on Ivy's abrasive red hair. Ivy moves towards him, angrily. She is not there to talk about her hair. She is there to end him. The prince finds that funny. Since he is feeling a little kind, he decides to let Ivy live. But Ivy is in no mood for pity. The prince finds her braveness funny. He sees the stake in her hand, but thinks of her as foolish to believe she can successfully harm him. He tries to leap, but Ivy blocks his way. His kindness is diminishing fast, he warns her. But Ivy is stubborn and determined. She attacks him and the prince evades it effortlessly. She asks him what leverage he has on Val. The prince simply thinks that Val is a smart girl to side with them, since they cannot be stopped. Ivy cannot believe that. Val would never willingly help his kind. She attacks him again, but the prince evades it again. He then grabs Ivy by the neck and holds her above the ground. His patience and kindness have run out. Ivy slashes his chest with the stake. The prince bleeds blue. He uses his magic to throw Ivy away. She tries to fight him in her weak form, but he overpowers her. Ivy lies helplessly on the ground. The prince is about to end her, but when he touches her face and her blood, makes him realize something. She is a halfling. He starts healing her with his magic, but at that exact moment, Ren arrives at the scene. The prince magically turns into a crow and flies away. Ren rushes to Ivy's aid. When Ivy wakes up the next day, she is in her bed. Ren is next to her, waiting for her to wake. Once he's sure Ivy is alright, Ren fills Ivy in on what has happened since. The Fey Knights got out, and whatever is left of the Order is trying to keep the streets safe. David is going to check out the club later, but Ren does not think it will be of much help. Ivy asks about Val, and Ren tells her the girl is missing. Ivy remembers that Val was carrying something when she ran away. Ren worries for Ivy. Facing the prince was not a safe thing to have done. Ivy ensures him that she is okay, and she is with him now. Later that night, Ivy is alone in her house, but she cannot stop her mind from running places. She takes a look in the mirror and sees her bruised face. There is a commotion outside, and Ren comes in. Tink and Ren argue some, but Ivy is happy to see Ren. He just came to check up on her. Ivy assures him she is alright. Ren promises to be back soon, and leaves for work. Then, Ivy gets her thorn stake out. She remembers Ren's words about a halfling's blood bubbling on being cut by a thorn stake. Tink asks what Ivy is doing with the stake. She tells him that the prince was going to eliminate her, but he healed her instead. He called her a halfling. Tink tells her that brownies can always sense the other world in other creatures, no matter how minimal. He knew she was different. Ivy realizes it was no coincidence that she found him. Tink stops Ivy from testing her theory, but she goes ahead while remembering Ren's words. He had told her he would have to put an end to the halfling when he found it. She recalls all the moments she spent with Ren in the past few weeks, and tears stream down Ivy's face as she stares at her bubbling blood in horror.